Hey, what's up guys? Austin back here, another video. I'm going to do a quick video for work. I got about 30 minutes. I'm not going to take all that time, but I know I've showed off my rod and reels, done reviews on certain ones, told you what I had, told you what I'm going to use them for, but I ain't done that with my newer rods. I've told you what I'm going to use them for, but now that I've got to fish with every one of them, I've made some changes. I swapped some reels off rods, put them on rods. I've tried different things on different rods and stuff like that. Pros, cons, goods, bads, ugly. It's all going to be in this video, so stay tuned. Kicking it off. I'm going to kick it off kind of. Let's kick it off with a bang. We're going to go expensive here. We are going to go expensive. So, let's start off with a Shimano Metanium and a Shimano Zodius. This Zodius is in a 7'2" medium heavy. That's the rod specs. And then the reel I got it paired with is a Shimano Metanium. It's a new 2020 Metanium. It's in a 6:2 to 1 gear ratio. This is my swim bait setup. I have tried some other stuff on it, like the other day I took this reel off here. I tried flipping with it, didn't like it. I tried cranking with it, didn't like it. So this rod is where it's going to stay. It's going to be my swim bait setup. The only way I'd get rid of this reel is if it was a Carnark MGL and I got some bait. So, and it had to be a gear ratio I want it to. So, otherwise, this reel ain't going nowhere. This rod definitely ain't going nowhere. I love my Zodius rod. Woo. If I could afford them all, I'd have all Zodius rods hands down. Best reel. Best rods ever. Still gonna go on the expensive train here. We're gonna go a Dwayne Dixie Custom Meat Stick 7'7" heavy and a Daiwa Tatula Elite. No, it's ain't Elite. Dang, why do I keep saying Elite? Daiwa Tatula SV in an 8:1 gear ratio. This here, the other day on Laurel, I had a jig on it. Loved it. I could feel everything. Well, me and Josh, we went to Woods Creek, which was, I believe, day before yet. No, 3 days ago. Because yesterday I worked, the day before I worked, but I had a short shift. I worked till 2:30, then me and him went. Me and him went to Woods Creek, and it was muddy. So I tried a black and blue rage crawl. I tried a black and blue Guggen cracking crawl. Just Texas rig flipping, going down a bank, flipping close to it, or flipping in cover. We did find some cover, found some new water, and flipping it back there. It done good. I had a monster on, and that was my fault. I'm used to flipping with a lighter action rod than this. This is in the name. It's a meat stick. So it's going to get them donkeys out of there. Well, I had a fish run at the boat pulling drag, and he went under the boat. And I felt him coming up. So what I do, I tried to muscle him up to the other side because my rod is like that. I was trying to give him as much leeway as I could, and when he dove under, I was kind of lift up, trying to bring him back up, and I pulled the hook out of his mouth. So, ain't no telling what he'd have weighed. But This is going to be my jig, my flipping, pitching, and Carolina rig rod. But if I have a jig or a Texas rig on it for flipping, I won't have a Carolina rig on it. I have another Carolina rod, another Carolina rig rod that I will get into in just a moment. There we go. I finally got it out. So that's two down. Let's keep it going. Let's go semi-expensive. We have, well, this Stratic was going to go on my Daiwa Arid X rod. I got to get that rod fixed, so for the time being, it's going to be on this little cheap Berkeley rod. But this is a Shimano Stratic 1000 HG, and I have it on a Berkeley Lightning rod, 7-foot medium heavy. This rod I've had for 6-7 years. No, I've had it longer than that. I've had this rod for a really long time. Dang, I'm getting ready to be 19. And Dad, he bought this rod for me when I was, I believe, 9. So this rod's 10-year-old, I believe. Yeah, because when I was 12, I bought my first bait caster. But no, I started younger. Yeah, when I was 12, I bought my first bait caster. I had this rod for 3 years. And I put it through work for $40. I love it. Thank you, Dad. This was one of my birthday presents he got me years ago, and I still have it. It still performs great. Summertime, this is my Rico rod. But now that I have a different rod for that, then this here will be a shaky head and tube rod just about year round. I'll have one of the two. If I'm going to Cumberland, I'm going to have a tube on it. But majority of the time, it's going to have a shaky head on it. But whenever I get my Daiwa rod fixed, that Stratic's going to go on it. That loose is going to go on there. But keep the ball moving here. We're going to go big or go home, right? Here's one thing I switched up, and it's a reason for this here. This is my 711 casting rod. It's my heavy action A-rig rod. I can use this for flipping, but I won't be flipping with this rod until summer. I will have my A-rig on it up until about May or June. Yeah, May or June. So I won't be flipping until all that grass gets really thick and I seriously need to punch. But this is my 711 casting rod. It's a heavy action rod. Highly suggest this rod. I ain't had no problems with it so far. I put 2 3/8 ounce weights on it, 2 quarters and 1/2 on my A-rig just to see how it would cast it. No problem. I guess I just got a bad blank with my other casting rod. I don't know why it snapped with the I'm a Skimmer, but this rod, it ain't snapped yet. But I did have my Lew's Classic Pro on here, and I got to notice another day when I'd go cast it and when I'd backlash it, I wouldn't be getting as far as I should with the A-rig. I had Josh, he was setting up he was getting within 20 foot of me. He was throwing an A-rig, I was throwing an A-rig. He was throwing a 7'3" Green Ghost by Duckett. They're heavy action with a SLX DC. It is no excuse to have that kind of rod and reel and get that close to a 711. It may have been his reel, it may have been his rod, but he knew what he was doing. But I did swap that reel out. I put a Daiwa Tatula. This is a 100 HS. in a 7-to-1 gear ratio. And I'm going to try this out. One of my buddies, he told me to put a Tatula on it, so that's what I done. If I like this Tatula cast, what I'll probably do, I will probably buy me another Tatula, probably a CT. Leave this reel on here, or I may try that CT out on it. But then I will probably put the CT on my top water rod, put that Bassmaster on the shelf again. But I'm not for sure yet. I'm just going to wait and see how this does. So that is something that did change. And that's just simply because of wind and how far I can cast the Tatula. Them things are unbelievable. Alright, I ain't got much longer and I gotta put this stuff up and go. But we're gonna talk cranking. We got cranking, jerking, swim bait, and top water, another swim bait, and a Ned rig. So we gotta get it. But right here's where I put that Lew's on. I put it on my 13 Fate Black 7-1 medium heavy fast action tip. This is a Lew's Classic Pro 7.5-to-1 gear ratio by everybody I know has one of these. Right now, instead of a spinnerbait being on here, I have a Carolina rig. I got a Carolina rig crack and crawl because me and Josh, we're going to fish Woods Creek another time this week. Probably going to be Friday because they're giving rain tomorrow. I'm off Thursday and Friday and Sunday. They'll let us have off Sunday because of Easter. Sunday I ain't probably going to do nothing. Spend time with family. That's about it. But this here is going to be my Carolina rig. If I can't put it on my Dixie custom rod, it's going to be Carolina rig, spinnerbait, and a chatterbait. It does have enough tip for a spinnerbait and a chatterbait. I do like a little bit longer rod. You've heard me talk about that when I had my Abu Garcia Vendetta rod, it being 6'6". Yeah, I can make accurate casts, but I can't make as long casts. With those type baits, I like being able to make a really long cast. I know a lot of people say, well, you ain't going to get hookup ratio. That is true, but I'm going to get more bites throughout the day because I'm covering more water and I'm staying back off of them fish in that clear water like Laurel. I make that long cast down a bank and I can get more bites than, say, somebody that's just making a 10 or 20 yard cast. So that's that. We're going to talk the next two popular in my arsenal that I'm going to be using a lot. This is a Denali rocker rod. It's a 7-foot medium. Yep, 7-foot medium. This is my cranking setup. And that crankbait, I'm going to show y'all. One time only. That's what I've been catching them cranking bass on. Good luck finding it in a store. But, this is my Denali 7-foot rocker rod medium. I went over that. I have it paired with a Daiwa Tatula. This is my Elite reel. This is a $239 one. But it's in a 7-to-1 gear ratio. Like I said, this is my cranking setup. I'll throw up to a rock crawler on it. I'm not going to go bigger than that. I'm not going to throw like a 10XD or nothing. But rock crawler and square bills, that's about all I throw. Up until summertime, then I'll have to buy me another setup for my 10XDs. But I probably won't even fish this summer much. But, yeah, that's my cranking setup. Now, another thing I tried, I want to see if that longer rod and that medium action was that much different. So, I took my jerkbait off this rod. This is my dedicated jerkbait rod. I'm not going to throw much more on it. Maybe a lighter spinnerbait. Maybe like a 1/4 ounce, not over a 3/16 or nothing. But This is a 6'6" Denali rocker rod and medium heavy. This is my jerkbait setup, but I did try this 13 fishing. This is called the Gordito, something like that. Dive 7 foot. I do have it paired with a Daiwa Tatula 100 XS. This is an 8-to-1 gear ratio. Dedicated jerkbait. I did try this crankbait, didn't like it, couldn't cast it far, and I just felt like a lot of resistance in my rod because my tip wouldn't load up to fire that out there. But I know you're saying, well, if it won't load up on crankbait, how's it loading up on jerkbait? Well, jerkbait's a lot skinnier, it's a lot aerodynamic. It's about like throwing a spook or something. When they get in that sail, they are going straight. This crankbait, I'd watch it ever cast, no matter if I went overhead, side cast, or rolled. It would want to spin in there. That was causing a lot of resistance. I don't know if it was the tip of my rod not loading up to get it to go straight like my Uden. My Uden, I can throw it 20, 30, and if I turn it down with no wind, I can throw it 40 yards. But keep in mind, it's a lot long. Well, it has 6 inches on it, and it actually loads up. Now we're going to talk Ned rig. Ned rig and wacky rig. This here's the rod that I gotta get fixed. My Daiwa Aerodex rod. It's 7 foot, medium heavy. I think. No, it's a medium. And for right now, let's slap this slews on here. That way I didn't forget about it or put it somewhere I'd forget about it. But I do have to get this rod fixed. So that Stratix is going to go on here. It's going to be a Ned rig and a wacky rig setup. This slews is going to go on that Berkley for my shaky heads and tubes. Alright, now we got 3 more. Let's talk small swim bait setup. This here ain't changed. It's my 7'6" medium light Dixie Custom Blank. I have that Daiwa Tatula 1000 on it. It is a XH. So that's going to be a small swim bait and a floating fly. Now we're going to talk 2 topwater setups, and then I'm going to do the outro, and I got to get to work. This here is going to be my spook reel for right now until I get me another one or whatever. Or I put a rod up, then I'll take that reel off, put a better reel on this rod. This is my Bassmaster. It's 6:3-to-1. I do like a fast gear ratio. That's why I'm hoping to be able to put one of them up, like my jerkbait rod. I'm not going to be using it this summer. Take that reel off, put it on here. Boom, there we go. But this reel ain't much. But this is my Terra KVD. It's a 6'6". I'm pretty sure it has been broke. So it's probably like 6'4", 6'3". This is my spook setup. And yeah, reason why I didn't talk much on that reel is because it's just on there for a time being up until I get to take a bait off, put a rod up, and then that reel's gonna go on there. This here is just an extra rod. So up until summertime when I'll be throwing my Rico and maybe another spook or something or a buzz bait, this is just going to be on the shelf unless I pond fish or something. Right now I have it set up for, can you give me a minute? I'm in a video. One. I know. But sorry about that. That was my dad. He was asking me what time I had to be at work. I might be there at 1. It's 12:05. I only got about a 30-minute drive. But This is my Abu Garcia Vendetta rod. It's 6'6". This would be a good spinnerbait rod. I just like a longer rod. But this here is going to be my Rico rod. When it gets time for a Rico, it'll be a Rico and a buzzbait. I'm not really finicky on my topwater stuff as long as it's short. That way, if I want to put a spook on this rod, work it, I ain't hitting the side of the boat. I like a 6 foot to a 6'6". Every now and then, I've had a couple 6'8", and I like them. But I mean, the shorter, the better for me, because I ain't worried about hitting the weeds if I'm pond fishing or hitting the side of the boat. But this here is a Daiwa Tatula SV. This is a HS. This is a 8-to-1 gear ratio. Right now I have a little, I forget who makes that head. I make the same exact head, but this was before I started pouring mine. And right now it's just for them big ones. So when them bass get off the bed, they're going to be hitting anything and everything. So hopefully I can catch me a big one on that. I can burn it. And that is a 3/8 ounce head. So I'm kind of burn it about like that. And then stay kind of up near the top. Hopefully a big one comes and then hells that thing. But up until summertime, that's going to be that right there. Summertime Rico, like I said, spook or a buzzbait, whatever I want to throw topwater wise, I'll put it on this rod or my KVD rod. But that there did change too. But that is my rods and reels up to date. In no way, shape, or fashion I mean to show them off, because I ain't got a lot. I have what I like. I'm blessed to have what I have. I know people that has a boat full of NRXs. Does that mean you should go buy them? If you can afford them, go for it. But I can't afford that. The average angler can't afford that. I would rather get mediocre stuff that's going to last me and have more money to go fishing. Yeah, I could buy 2 or 3 NRXs, 2 GLXs. But why I spent all that money on rods, that's less money I have to go fishing. If I want to go Cumberland, I can take off and go. But that's just my stuff. I do suggest the Daiwa stuff, but that's me. But thank y'all for watching this. I gotta get ready and head to Corbin. I got my job at Lowe's, so be sure to come out there, check us out. But thank y'all for watching this. As always, check out Dog Patch, Kurt Singer Sunrise Outfitters, Saddlebrook, and the Tackle Spot. And also, as always, give God all the glory. Be safe, have fun, have a good day. I'm out.